we can edge this out longer for anyone to actually respond to our TikTok story, which is not going to happen. Because
already it's been like 10 minutes of recording, and I think that's pretty much all of that is going in.
It has one viewer.
Did they comment?
No.
Bastard.
Hello and welcome to The Fourth Take. This is the second Fourth Take, and this is the fourth take that we are recording internationally thanks to James's 3 earlier in the year. Stats. Very stat heavy at the minute. So, without further ado, I'm joined by without any delay, I'm joined by Chandler Monk.
Hello!
He's probably said a line in there about me saying a Jew. That's what I would do. He said something else as well that's probably offensive. James Robbins.
Hiya.
He's probably said something more offensive and then coveted it with a line of, oh, well, if he'd have said this, of course he didn't say this, but then he'd have said something really offensive, and that would have been more offensive. But then because he said, but that's what I would have said if I was him. Everyone thinks he's not the worst one of us, but he is the worst one of us. And I'm Alex Clinton. Hello, I'm the nice one. Let's get into it.
An absolute classic from Alex Clinton. I have no idea what he said, but let's just go with that. He's as funny as he usually is. He might have done me absolutely dirty, to be honest. But it sounds like he's been watching some fantastic things, or maybe terrible things. He does love terrible things. Chandler, what have you been watching recently? Or what have you been doing? Worth noting, both you boys celebrated your birthdays. You are now 30.
We did. Yeah, it's really depressing how
Welcome.
I've turned 30. Yeah, thanks.
Alex turned 29? 29?
Yeah, Alex turned 29. Yeah. I spent
Ironic
my birthday...
when he looks the oldest out of all of us.
I spent my 30th. I took my mates to a bottomless brunch, and then we did some karaoke, and then played some pool, which was a lot of fun. I didn't cry. That was the main thing, because I'm very depressed about the fact I've turned 30.
You are a crier.
I am a crier, that is a fact. Well, that's well done. I went to go see MJ the Musical last week with some of my partner's family. It was actually really good. I was genuinely surprised at how good it was.
I saw an advert for the first time of that the other day, and I thought it was just another Michael Jackson impersonator video that come up from time to time. And I was like, oh, there's actually a musical.
It was really good. Like I'd actually had quite low expectations going into it, but it was very good. The 3 people who like play Michael throughout his like life were fan-fucking-tastic. There was a little boy playing a young Michael Jackson who was out-fucking-standing. He was so good. And all 3 of them, just the way they like moved, the way they danced, the way they sang, it was so good. It wasn't like going to see like a random Michael Jackson impersonator. These 3 like were so amazing, genuinely.
I'd be interested in that.
The way they framed this telling of his life, I thought was quite good. It's basically like the musical is framed as leading up to his Dangerous tour, like which is like early 90s, with some like flashbacks to how he like got to where he was at that point. And it was really good. It was really, really good. Really, really good. My best bit was when they do Thriller in the second act, the first minute that they do Thriller. They do it quite stripped back, and it's just the vocals, and it's really eerie. It's really, really fucking good.
That sounds cool. I've been listening to a bit of Michael Jackson recently. I mentioned it on the podcast previously. Most notably, Human Nature is probably my favourite. I love that. I love the SWV song that samples it as well. I think they're both great. But a little secret for the podcast that people can know, it doesn't bother me. When I was a very young child, Michael Jackson was in the news for quite sketchy things.
Obviously.
And when, I don't know how old we were probably like 6 years old. Very young. Might have been younger, I'm not sure. But, you know, in and around a young age. I had a phobia of that man. Because he looked
every young boy should.
He looked very skeletal, He was in the news all the time for bad things. And we also, I remember quite vividly, we had a letter sent home from school about a guy that'd been trying to get kids into his car. And so I'm like, I didn't think that was Michael Jackson, obviously. But I was thinking, that guy's dodgy for similar reasons that Michael Jackson was allegedly dodgy. And I'm a child and he looks terrifying.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I had quite a phobia of Michael Jackson.
Nice. I enjoy that.
Yeah, it didn't last me into adulthood, but I didn't. As a guy who considers himself like a hip hop, R&B, soul fan, first and foremost, I didn't listen to a lot of his music, and I didn't love some of it either. And now I'm like, that's dumb. Let's listen to some music.
Did you start listening to his music at an age where Michael Jackson wouldn't have found you attractive?
Yeah. As soon as I turned 18, I was like, shit. All of a sudden, Thriller was fantastic.
The only other thing I've done this week is I've started sparring, like body sparring with boxing, so like other fighters and stuff. And I've fucked my thumb up today and it really fucking hurts.
So how's that different from what you were doing before? Because you're doing a lot of pad stuff.
That was like, just pads and like bag work, but not like actually trying to hit someone else. But it's been a lot of fun, but my thumb really fucking hurts.
Fair. You always have something hurt.
Yeah, I do. And
so that's going to be a lot of 30.
Yeah, exactly.
My Achilles has been hurting. And I'm like, is it going to explode? Why? This has never hurt before. Why does it hurt now? It doesn't make any sense. I've done nothing to it. I went for a couple of runs and went to the gym, and it's now screaming at me. I don't really understand why that is.
Before we get into what James has done this week, let's find out. Alex has sent us a little clip and what he's been doing this week.
What have I been up to? I have been going on a lot of excursions while I've been here in the US. I went up to a mill. I've been to see and watch a lot of tennis. When I went to the mill, there was a very big pancake that I only ate a bit of. So, yeah, saving the rest of the pancake for another day. I kid, of course. I left the pancake. There was no way I could carry it with me. It was too heavy. I'm also going to the Underground Railroad Museum, which is in Cincinnati, where I am. Which, if you know what that is, it's very sad, but I am kind of looking forward to it. It's an intriguing part of history, terrible part of history. That's what I've been up to. Big history guy, as we all know.
Well, Alex, that's very interesting. Maybe. I know roughly what you're going to say. You might not have even done those things because those are your plans. You might be having a terrible time. And you know what? Good.
He should be here recording with us for the fourth take.
I know he's got a laptop with him. He's got a phone. You guys would have accepted phone recording of Alex, I'm sure.
Definitely. James, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I sadly couldn't make Chandler's birthday, which did upset me. I was triple booked, and he was the last to get to me, which is quite devastating.
I'm so popular. Triple booked. Fuck you.
I'm never triple booked. I had a friend's event, and not the show Friends, because probably would have found Chandler there, but a friend's event.
That was the other thing I did this week. Me and my partner went to
always do a friends quiz.
Yeah, a quiz based around the show
week.
Friends, which me and Charlotte won, and we won by a fucking mile. We won by 9 points.
You win it all the time. You're just gaming it at the moment. You shouldn't be allowed back.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be allowed to win again.
Yeah, but we normally win by like 1 or 2 points. This time we fucking smashed it and won by like 9. So, you know.
Okay, yeah, but at this point, surely you shouldn't be allowed to win again.
Yeah, me and Charlotte do think every time we shouldn't go back, but we do.
No, you shouldn't. It's unfair. I bet there's people there that are regulars that are like, fuck these guys. I used to do a pub quiz, and there were these 4 probably women in their 50s that worked at the hospital nearby, and they were called the Golden Girls, and they'd win the pub quiz every week, and they'd woo, and they were irritating, and just don't fucking show up. Just let us win a £50 bottle of wine. It's not all about you. I like wine as well.
James, what have you been done? I'm sorry to have interrupted you.
It's fucking horseshit. What have I done? What did I do? I went to another friend's birthday last week. That was nice. Happy birthday to another Alex. There's going to be a lot of Alexes mentioned in this today. I started The Last of Us Season 2.
What are we thinking?
Enjoying it so far. Episode 2 or 3. That's spoilers warning. That's quite a way to go. Quite brutal. Like, fuck it. I know she's meant to be, and characters are meant to be annoying, but Ellie is so annoying in that show. And she's meant to be annoying. It's a good performance of annoying. I believe it. Pisses me off. Well done to... I forgot the actor's name. Normally Chandler knows.
Yeah, I can't pull that off the top of my head. Sorry.
So yeah, started that. I have, ready for this record, I've done a great job and watched no films in 40 minutes of Happy Gilmore 2.
Whereas I have watched all 3 new sequels.
But this is very on brand. And the podcast has got to be 3 characters. So if we're not on brand, what's the point?
But now you brought it up, should we go in and start talking about the new sequel films and retrospective on the sequel trilogy?
Probably should.
So first this week, so what we're going to do on this 4th take is we're going to look back at the 3 films we did in our long-awaited comedy sequel trilogy and their actual sequels a little bit.
As a collective.
Yeah, as a collective. So first this week, we're going to talk about Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore 2. James, any lasting feelings from watching Happy Gilmore a couple weeks ago?
Funny you said that. I mentioned it briefly on air that I'd had some thoughts while having a stroll the other day about Happy Gilmore and how do I actually like it? So I wrote in at the end of the trilogy, I voted Happy Gilmore first, and I also said it's good, but is it good? And I had The Naked Gun number 2 and Freaky Friday number 3. Now, that's not an indictment on the quality of any of those films, because we are all in kind of agreement that they're all very, very good. All of them are great films, and I think all of them are worth your time. But Happy Gilmore and Naked Gun, I laughed so much at The Naked Gun. And I love Freaky Friday. It's nostalgic, and it's not just nostalgic. It's good. Like, it's actually good, and it's so 90s, and it's so fun. But Happy Gilmore didn't make me laugh out loud a lot. I just like Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler films. And actually, we got quite a few comments from Alex Anderson, and he said out of the sequels, he'd only probably watch Happy Gilmore 2, and he said he likes Adam Sandler though. He enjoys Happy Gilmore, so it's funny, it's a good watch. But then I'm thinking, did I vote Happy Gilmore number 1 just because, yeah, I like Adam Sandler and I like what he does, even though I didn't necessarily find that film outrageously funny. It's just a bit of a classic and worth your time.
So I think, looking back at sort of the rankings then, I think Happy Gilmore is number 1 because I think it is the best film out of those 3. Like, again, Naked Gun and Freaky Friday are still good and still enjoyable to watch. They're all worth your time, as James said. Yes, Happy Gilmore is a quintessential Adam Sandler film. It's definitely up there as potentially one of the best Adam Sandler films, but I still think it is a great film. And just because it doesn't make you sort of laugh out loud that much, it's still quite a good story, well told, fun to watch, and all those types of things.
But it's not exceptional at anything. Whereas The Naked Gun is genuinely an absolute clinic on movie comedy. It is absolutely hilarious. Some of it's not aged well in terms of probably political correctness. Well, actually, no. It's probably aged back into political correctness, given what politicians say nowadays. Fuck me. But it's probably not aged well that way. But it's so funny. It's an absolute masterclass of acting, comedy acting, editing, and film and camera work as well. It's just almost perfection of all the things you need for a good comedy film.
Yeah.
Whereas Happy Gilmore is Adam Sandler and it's fun.
There's nothing
wrong with
wrong
that.
just because Adam Sandler and it's fun doesn't necessarily make it. It can't, just because it's that doesn't mean it's not a great movie. Just because, as I say, I am actually a massive Adam Sandler fan. Like, you know, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, Little Nicky, Blended is a great one out of nowhere. Just go with it. All those types of films. 50 First Dates, right? They're all Adam Sandler films, right? But there are some great films in that. Just because it's Adam Sandler doing what Adam Sandler does not make it not a great film.
So Happy Gilmore is actually the lowest, at least on I know we get stick for using Rotten Tomatoes, but it's nice because it gives you the critic and the audience score, and it's at least something to base upon. I mean, we say this all the time. It's actually the lowest rated from critics out of the 3 films we did.
Really?
And it is...
And the critics got it wrong.
The critics rate Freaky Friday at 88%, which is mental. The Naked Gun is also critics 88%, whereas Happy Gilmore is down at 63%, but its audience score is 85%. And there is something to say for that, absolutely, because hey, critics can go too far sometimes. Like, I don't think you need to have a professional review breakdown of filmography of Happy Gilmore. But however, that shouldn't be discounted because you have got a film here in The Naked Gun which is so well done in comedy, and Freaky Friday I think is probably the most cohesive story. And like, yeah,
definitely.
And film, just you said this in the last record, it flows nicely, it's well acted, the script's good, it's there's some silliness, there's some stuff that I didn't like, but there's also like the performance at the end, hated that. The Battle of the Bands, hated that anyway, but that's what the film was gearing up to. Yeah, I just think Happy Gilmore maybe isn't as good as I think I want it to be.
Well, it's funny you say that because you said off air that Happy Gilmore 2 sort of proves your theory. Whereas, you know, okay, so Happy Gilmore... well, first, before we get into Happy Gilmore 2, Alex has also sent us in a little recording of what he thinks Happy Gilmore 2 is like.
I have only watched one of the remakes that we'll be doing. I don't intend on watching Airplane again. Even though people say it's very good, I think the original was fine for me, so I'll stick with that. I watched Happy Gilmore 2, which I reviewed on my Letterboxd page. It's worth 90 minutes of your life. It is a lot of cameos. It's a lot of advertising. It's a lot of golfers. It's basically the story of Liv, if you know your golf. Yeah, it's worth 90 minutes of your time. I wouldn't rush to it. I mean, if you've got a Netflix account, you might as well. But yeah, it's also Eminem is phenomenal in his cameo. But there's so many others.
We still don't know what Alex has said because Alex did not send us it in time for us to actually record.
We do have his Letterboxd review though, don't we?
But as James says, we do have his Letterboxd account, which is so quintessentially Alex and does sum up this film entirely. So Alex has said on his Letterboxd, a nostalgic cameo fest with a few gags thrown in for good measure. Nuff said. Which I actually think gives the film more credit than it's worth. Talking about Happy Gilmore 2. Because
I've only seen 40 minutes of it and I was like, is it the same film?
You are exactly right. It tries to be exactly the same film. It's because it tries to be. We need someone to die
again. No,
yeah, exactly.
No, not die. We need him to murder another person.
Yeah, right. And it's just throwing cameos at you. Some of which are very funny and very good.
Yeah.
Like John Daly's great. They have like Rory McIlroy. Scheffler, like big golf pros, right? And they're really funny at it. I do not get me wrong, they're really funny with it. However, the story is not coherent in the slightest. It does not make sense. Right?
We're going to avoid spoilers on this podcast because these films are very new. I also do want to see them at some point.
But, just overall about Happy Gilmore 2, Alex's review does give it more credit than it's worth, because I think that I do think the first hour is not a bad film, as I said on a previous record. The first hour is quite enjoyable to watch, and it reminds you of the classic. But after that, it goes jumps so far past the shark, it's ridiculous, and it becomes into that story of like, it's too long, it bores you. And
I saw it was 2 hours, and that blew my mind.
Exactly.
But Happy Gilmore 1 is what, an hour and a half?
Yeah. It just bores you. After an hour, it's just like, this is so boring now. I can't be bothered. It's not, the story's not funny anymore. The gags don't land after an hour. The cameos, you're like, I don't give a shit about this other cameo. There's one really funny cameo in it I want to say, but it's going to ruin it for you, so I don't think you've got there yet.
There's a gag in it at the start, which I don't think this is worst choice, but he's got kids. His sons get their ass out all the time. It's not funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Fucking Christ. It's not that funny. And some of him failing golf shots isn't funny anymore.
Yeah. But here's the thing, like you say, like Happy Gilmore 2 is the bad end of the Happy Sandler, Adam Sandler film. Like, it's along with like That's My Boy and Jack and Jill and things like that. But just because he has bad Adam Sandler films doesn't mean that like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison aren't great happy Adam Sandler films, and in turn great films.
Yeah.
Which is why you probably put Happy Gilmore first at the time of watching them, because you had the most fun watching that film, and that is
no, I didn't know. Did I though? This is where where Alex Anderson, who sent this thing, kind of made me think that, does Adam Sandler's reputation precede himself? Adam Sandler is a genre all of his own at this point, and let's not get it twisted. These 3 films coming out, yes, it's nice to see some films do well that aren't superhero films. As much as I love superhero films, it's nice to see films that aren't. But it is another critique on nothing but superhero films and sequels do well. People don't go to the cinema anymore. You've got things come out on streaming services so quick. Cinema is really expensive. Cinema has almost become a thing like going to the theatre, which, let's be real, most people don't go to the theatre all the time, whereas the cinema requires you to want to go every week. There's new releases. But the model is, we could go on for hours about the cinema model being fucked. Like, I have 5 films I want to see right now out in the cinema, and I haven't seen one because that's going to cost an amount of money unless I get a deal, loads. But the sequel culture is the only way that films seem to be able to draw people in now, or get greenlit at the same time, because these businesses want a surefire thing. Fortunately, films like Sinners, which I think Sinners is an original IP, did really well this year. I think the film Together, the horror film coming out with Alison Brie and Dave Franco, I think that might do quite well because they're actors people like. Their chemistry's great because obviously they're married, and it's people. There's horror fans will go see it ultimately, and it's probably small budget, and it'll probably make its budget back. But there is a problem with cinema that sequels and big sequels are the only thing kind of getting any traction. And I would say I love Happy Gilmore for Adam Sandler-ness, but do I love it for the film it actually is? Not as much as how I rated it probably originally the other week.
Just to comment on you saying Sinners is not an original IP. Sinners is an original IP. Sorry, you said Sinners is an original IP. Sinners is no, it is original IP, I'm pretty sure. However, it is so heavily based on From Dusk Till Dawn by Quentin Tarantino, it may as well be a bloody reboot of that film.
Interesting.
And From Dusk Till Dawn is a great film. Like, it's a silly film. It's 2 films mashed together to make a film, which is Sinners. I like Sinners. Don't get me wrong, people at home. However, it may as well just be a remake of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, interesting. Is it a more serious version, obviously, from what I've seen from
No!
Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld?
The first half of From Dusk Till Dawn is a very serious film. The first half of Sinners is a very serious film. Things happen in the middle to make them the films they actually are. It's mental.
At least it's an original IP. Things take inspiration. Postmodernism says that everything's been done before.
I completely agree with you. There is nothing new under the sun. However, it is such a carbon copy From Dusk Till Dawn. It's ridiculous.
Fair. But hey,
Anyway,
my point.
Anyway.
It cements my point even more.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
Anyway.
just makes me, do I like it because I like Adam Sandler and not actually, okay, let's look at
Maybe.
these films for what they are, nostalgia out the question and enjoying those. Would I rate it first again? Maybe not. And Happy Gilmore 2 is like those gags again, and I don't know if I care to see them again. I'd rather more Sandler newbies.
So it's funny you say that. I think you're right, and this is going to move us nicely onto the Naked Gun. Like, does the same joke work twice? Right? I don't think it does.
It can.
It can. So here's the difference,
don't do it
right?
over and over again.
Here's the funny thing. So I've just looked up the ratings for Happy Gilmore 2, and Happy Gilmore 2 is 64 tomato meter, 66 popcorn meter. So it's actually rated more highly than Happy Gilmore by the critics for some reason, which is bullshit. But just moving us on to Naked Gun, the new Naked Gun, the reboot, right? Like, does the second... I think Naked Gun 2, or the reboot, whatever you want to call it, with Liam Neeson, is actually a great way to make similar jokes for a new time, right? I know you've not seen Naked Gun, unfortunately.
Well, I do want to. I've heard good things.
I would highly, highly recommend going to see it, right? Because there is no fat on that movie. Every joke lands. The chemistry between Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson is so good. All the acting from Paul Hauser and the evil guy, I can't remember who it's played by, is so good. They are really, really good. And I know we sort of say this quite a lot, but there's nothing wrong with a short film. Naked Gun Reboot is an hour and 25 minutes long. It is a tight movie. And I think
it probably has to be.
It is,
because you mentioned Happy Gilmore being 2 hours long. If you're trying to make gag after gag after gag after gag, that does get tiring. And
I agree.
And you will just run out of ideas. Like, simple.
But here's why I think the new Naked Gun is actually better than its original, which is a bold fucking claim.
Okay.
The story is not irrelevant to the movie. It kind of is irrelevant because you're there for the gags. However, the actual story that they present to you is coherent and makes fucking sense.
Okay. I wouldn't say the story in Naked Gun 1 didn't make sense if you line it up, but it is not displayed. Like, it's so fucked. It's so random. I did lose track of it. You guys made a great point last week that forgot about the Queen. The Queen just appears. The Queen's meant to be the whole crux of the film, and
you forget about her.
You forget, and also, but the heroine. I struggled to follow how things linked in Naked Gun when we watched it because I was just like, these gags are funny.
Yeah, but in the new Naked Gun, the gags are funny, the chemistry is amazing, and the story, you actually can follow the story really fucking easily. And it does. Naked Gun, the reboot of Naked Gun, is sort of the way to do a comedy reboot, which Happy Gilmore 2 fails at.
Because technically it's another sequel.
Yeah, whatever.
But everyone that was in the original was basically passed away at this point.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it knows how to do cameos because it doesn't use them too much. They're unexpected. They come at unexpected points. Unlike Happy Gilmore 2, you're like, where's the next cameo? That's the next joke. But in Naked Gun, you're like, oh, it's him, it's her, that's amazing. But they come up so randomly in the film, they're unexpected, so you enjoy them, right? So it's the way to do a reboot of don't do too many cameos, have a coherent story, and don't just do the same gags again, but build on those gags. And that's what the new Naked Gun does, and that's why it's genuinely a really enjoyable movie. And just to say, I went to see this in the cinema. But the only reason I went to see this in the cinema is because I get a free ticket to View every month. So I used it for this.
Fair. Yeah, fair.
So, because there's like some deal or some subscription I have to something, I get a free ticket to View. Nice. And I went by myself because my partner was away and I had a great time.
I love going to cinema by myself.
Because it was free.
It's a lovely evening.
It was a lovely evening.
Well, before we go on to Freaky Friday, and I think you might have some comments to bring up Freaky Friday in this as well, but someone asked as well, I mean, Alex Anderson went nuts and sent us like 3, to be fair. We have got some other people, I promise you, but he sent us loads of stuff. Hero.
Thank you, Alex Anderson.
Yeah, get your questions and takes in, please. It'd be really helpful. Also, tell us if we're shit or not. I'll do that. We can talk about that as well. But
constructive criticism only,
we
please.
We are Chandler mostly, but we are viral superstars now. Since our TikTok went to 1.8 million views.
Yeah, I still don't know how that happened. That happened. The funny thing about that is I posted it and then turned my phone off because I was in the cinema, and then I looked back and it had like 30,000 views. I was like, what the hell? 30,000? That's mental. Then I had to go to bed early because I had to be up for an early shift at work, and I woke up and it had over 100,000. I was like, oh my god! And then every hour at work, I was just doing this, going, it's gone up again. It's gone up again. It was crazy. It was great fun.
Yeah, I think that does help. They say like don't like just go away from your phone when you post, apparently, but who knows what really works? Who really knows the mysteries of the algorithm?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of reasons why the Guess the Movies that you play, Chandler, do well. But for that one to go so mental is crazy. It's like it threw us a bone.
It did throw us a bone.
It absolutely threw us a bone. I thought it would stop around a few 100K once we really saw it climbing, and then it just went nuts. So if you're a new listener off the back of that, thank you for taking the time to listen to a podcast. Hope you stay.
You.
Hope you stick around.
Please.
We know there was at least 2 of you. and to be honest, we're thrilled at that. Anyway, Alex said, are there any other films with more cameos than what Happy Gilmore does? Because he's heard there was like 75, and a lot of them look like they're golfers, like pro golfers, old and new.
There is one very famous rapper as a cameo in there, which I don't think you've got to the point yet, James.
Is it 50 Cent?
No, it's not 50 Cent.
Okay, I think I've seen it somewhere. But it did make me think. Cameos, I think of, the Avengers films and stuff, especially with these multiverse things, Spider-Man, ones that I think immediately go to mind. Deadpool 2, which is a well-rated film, good. That also had a lot of cameos. But other ones that come up in like lists are Tropic Thunder, This Is the End. Tick Tick Boom has a load of wonderful cameos from theatre.
Yes, it does. It does. There's other ones like sort of like Austin Powers had quite a few cameos, especially in Goldmember. Jay and Silent Bob and the reboot of Jay and Silent Bob had a lot of cameos, which is quite an interesting thing. If we're talking about cameos within, like I just said, reboot and Goldmember, like sequels and stuff. That it's like they're relying on the cameos to generate buzz around the movie. Like even Deadpool 2, even the Avengers, they're all a part of franchises.
Doctor Strange 2 is a bit like that, I think, with the cameos for sure. It's an okay film. It's definitely not up there with the best Marvel films, absolutely. But the John Krasinski surprise and some others were fun. I watched something the other day talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. I loved that film, but I've only seen it once. And apparently people think it ages poorly with every rewatch because the cameos are really good and they flow really nicely, but there's a couple of points where they use those cameos in ways that really take you out of the film or draw, especially in the final fight, where they almost like, it was almost like the scene where they start discussing back pain or their powers or something. It halts the action and it just feels gratuitous and almost like a deleted scene. And I've been meaning to watch that again. It annoyingly has been just taken off of Netflix. So I've not got around to watching it again. But it does make sense to me that if you lean, there's a right and wrong way to do cameos, and I think leaning on them too much detracts from your story.
Yeah.
Does Happy Gilmore 2 do that? The golfer ones seem fine from what I've seen.
The golfer ones have done actually really well. The rapper one that I mentioned before that I don't want to spoil for you is done really well. The others couldn't give a shit about. They distract. They just sort of. There is that bit. So apparently, if you go, as you said, No Way Home. Apparently, if you go back and rewatch No Way Home, when spoilers, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back, there's a gap. There's a pause so that Marvel could allow people to clap
and
during
cheer
it without having to miss any films. So it's a little bit like that in Happy Gilmore 2. This also makes me think about which actor has the best movie cameos, and there is 100% a correct answer to this. Do you know who I'm thinking of, James? Any idea?
Should I know?
You know the actor, 100%. No, Stan, yeah, but no, it's not Stan.
Okay, fine. I'll know the actor.
It's Matt Damon.
Okay.
Matt Damon has some of the best cameos in the world. Two of them Like Thor, in Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah, that's fun.
he's amazing when he pops up as an actor on Asgard. So funny. But his best cameo is definitely in Eurotrip. You ever seen Eurotrip?
I think a long time ago. You and
Oh
Alex
my god,
talk about it a fair bit.
you need to go see Eurotrip. And Matt Damon, I don't care about spoiling this because the film came out 21 years ago. He pops up as a like punk band lead singer and sings a song called Scotty Doesn't Know. You need to go watch that. Just for the first, I remember showing this to my mate. Like I was like, I was banging on about Eurotrip, and he basically went, "I'm never gonna watch Eurotrip. It looks shit." And I was like, "Okay, just watch the first 10 minutes with me, because there'll be a moment in it when you go, what the fuck? What the fuck is he doing here?"
Yeah.
Sure. And he did exactly what I said. He literally went, "What the fuck? What the fuck is Matt Damon in this?" It's great.
Fair.
It is great.
Yeah.
But talking of cameos, I think that's a good sort of jumping off point to go back to now talk about Freaky Friday and Freakier Friday. Because Freakier Friday also, not unfortunately, I think again
There's nothing wrong with cameos. It's just how you do them. It's all,
No, but
you
I
almost make
completely
me
agree.
think there needs to be cinema edits and home edits where they cut these little pauses out. Because I'll tell you now, I'm barely clapping in the cinema at anything, let alone am I going to clap at home.
Yeah. So no, to Freakier Friday, the cameos in Freakier Friday are just like The Naked Gun. They're done really well. There's only a few of them, but they are done perfectly well. There's a cameo of the little boy. He's only in it for like a minute or two, but it's done really well. And it's like
what, her little brother?
Her little brother. Yeah.
Okay. Isn't Weird Al? Sorry, jump back. Isn't Weird Al back in Naked Gun?
He is, but it's again a cameo, but it's done really well.
Okay, yeah, because I thought I saw him in a trailer. Trailer Friday doesn't seem to me to need that many cameos, because you would just assume that a lot of the main cast would just be reprising their roles, because it's a I don't know what Happy Gilmore 2 is a true sequel, but this, I don't know, Freakier Friday feels like a truer sequel, if you know what I mean.
It is 100% a true sequel, and it's done really well. The story's done really well. But just going back cameos, Elaine Hendricks, who plays Meredith Blake in The Parent Trap, shows up for like a 5-minute cameo.
Nice.
And it's done really well. It's you're not expecting it because it's from a different film, but a very famous film.
We should probably
And it's done
spoiler
really
tag
well.
this. So yeah, just Chandler, some audio for you to chuck in. Spoiler warning. Now till now.
Yeah. Freaky Friday, but just I want to talk more about Freakier Friday and Freaky Friday. Freakier Friday, I really enjoyed. Again, I went to go see it in the cinema with my partner. As I said in the last one, it's a really nostalgic film for her, so we went out to go see it. Lovely little date, but it was really good, really enjoyable. The storyline's really good, and more importantly, as we said in the last one, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan in Freaky Friday. Fantastic. They carried that movie on their backs through their performance. Freakier Friday, not just Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan carrying that film on their backs. The two new actresses who play their daughter and stepdaughter in the films were also fantastic. I'm just getting their names up really quickly. The actresses, one of the actresses is called Julia Butters. Great name. That sounds made up.
Yeah.
That sounds made up.
Also,
that sounds like she loves South Park.
Yeah, or Butters is a slang term for ugly people in London. An
Maybe.
old slang term as well.
And the other one is called Sophia Hammonds. And I don't think they've been in too much before, like little indie projects here and there. But they're really good. They're really good. All four of them are so good, and the chemistry between all four of them is amazing. Like, the story works, the acting works, the chemistry works. I really enjoyed Freakier Friday. But it's another example, like the Naked Gun sequel reboot, that comes out with a story and wants to tell a story, and everything around it is done really well. The callbacks to the sequel, there's a callback to Mean Girls in it, which is done really well. The acting's great. I really enjoyed Freakier Friday. You should go watch it as well.
It's been rated well, average to all of these sequels, I think, except for Naked Gun reboot. I think Happy Gilmore 2 is rated very, very average. Freakier Friday seems to have quite mixed reviews. It doesn't seem to be... No one seems to think it's rubbish. There's some average ones, and then, some people think it's decent. There was one quite harsh review that Jamie Lee Curtis responded to, just saying it's harsh, and Some people love it, which is absolutely the case. He's just had Chandler says he loves it. But they say Freaky Friday is a movie that manages to humiliate everybody, and it appears to exist largely for one reason: to grift off the fondness many adults have for the original, even though the sequel has none of that picture's breezy, observant charm. Now, this gets into a comment from Matt Stevens, who asked, he says these films are there to profit and sell nostalgia, and people find comfort in that. And he says we talked about it before. He says he preferred to see something new, but there is a comfort in having an old favourite have the dust blown off. And I think he's right. There's no problem with sequels, but these all do seem a little cash grabby just from the amount of time that has passed. I mean, Naked Gun was a film from a very long time ago, so it does feel very due something from a beloved franchise and original trilogy. Whereas these other two do seem a bit like nostalgia cash grabs just from the age of when people would have seen them, especially Freaky Friday. Like, we were children, we are all grown up now, and we are going to look back fondly at the 90s, early 2000s.
So I actually disagree with that. I agree with the fact that the Naked Gun sequel seems less cash grabby because it's an older IP
property,
right?
Yeah.
Property. However, I don't mind a sequel. I first I'm going to say I'd rather go out and see new things. I'd rather go out and be surprised and like come into a film or TV show fresh. There is something to be said for comfort and rewatching stuff. Like, I rewatch stuff all the time. I rewatch Friends. I rewatch Doctor Who. I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Suits at the moment. Do you know what I mean? And How I Met Your Mother. I rewatch stuff all the time. It is comfort. It is nice. It is more chilling that you don't sometimes have to fully concentrate because you know exactly what's going to happen, right? Fully agree with that. However, back to these three films in themselves. The Naked Gun, I don't think it's a cash grab because it came out, over 40 years, nearly 40 years ago. Happy Gilmore, I think is a cash grab because even though it came out
for Netflix,
more time than Freaky Friday came out, it doesn't have a story to tell. It doesn't have a new angle on that film to tell. It's the same film repackaged with more cameos, right? Freakier Friday, on the other hand, yes, it's the same story. It's a body swap movie, but it has something to tell. It has a story to tell, and it does that really well. Like, so like, as I said at the end of Freaky Friday, the emotion that Lindsay, that sort of, I think, Jamie Lee Curtis
the characters
gives,
going on the same journey in Freakier Friday? Is ultimately
similar,
like the daughters is it the same as their mum, and is it the same for Lindsay Lohan? Is it the same for Jamie Lee Curtis? Is it the same for them?
It is the same, but it's not. It's similar.
Same, but different.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not exactly the same like Happy Gilmore 2 is. It's similar enough, and it brings a new perspective for like younger generation on that body swap genre, and that's why I think it's not a cash grab. It actually has something to say.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Freaky Friday isn't a cash grab. It's someone came up with a story based on property, unfortunately, and wanted to tell it, and it's driven by that story and great acting. So there's nothing not to love, really, and it has great callbacks to the original. So it's good for new people to watch it, and it's good for the nostalgia to people to watch it as well.
There's no uniqueness in the story of the characters you once loved being adults now and having kids and adult problems. It's a story has been done in different ways over and over again. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. People will often be drawn to them because they have beloved characters, and also you have likely aged up with the characters as well. So it does definitely have a place, and I think I can imagine that with Freakier Friday. I imagine it's a fun watch. It does feel like there'll be I do feel like it's going to be mid-20s and up, and like young teenagers and kids that enjoy it the most from an outside perspective, because I don't imagine that anyone in between like those age ranges have much of a need to see it or aren't really targeted. That's fine. They're not the target demographic. But it is going to be parents watching it with their kids, or people like you and me who grew up and liked the film back then and also watched it recently.
And have a podcast.
and her podcast.
But just we did have one comment in from Charlotte. Thank you very much, Charlotte, for bringing this in about Freaky Friday. Just wanted to bring this up quickly. So you know how you said last week that Freaky Friday was a bit one-sided about like which character takes like the journey, and she says,
no, I wasn't not less about the journey, but I know I was. Yeah, I think the mum was just a bitch, and she just needed to realise what her daughter was doing rather than having a go at her.
So she said, I disagree that Freaky Friday was one-sided. I think Anna understood more about her mum and her relationship with Ryan after they body swapped, essentially.
That's taking my comment far too literally and assuming that I think it was wholly one-sided. And I imagine in the heat of a moment, that's what I said when I was being passionate and exaggerating for effect because, bit of pizzazz in there. But yeah, I didn't say there wasn't a journey for I can't remember the names out in front of me for the daughter. There absolutely was one. But most of the reasons for the body swap and the way the film frames it early on is very, very aimed at the mum's a bitch and won't listen to her daughter. And then, guess what? The mum finds out that her daughter's not a twat. That's not a journey. That should be you learn to be a better parent. And then most of the issues that is it Annie, the daughter? No, I can't remember her name. Anna. Most of the issues she has is my mum won't listen to me at the end of the day. Yeah, and she's struggling with her mum remarrying, which of course she would be. She's a teenage girl that lost her father. That's absolutely fine, and she does have to come to terms with that, and that's great. But by no means was that the fleshed out plot thread in the movie for me. It honestly felt like that plot thread was almost wholly done at the end in her speech. And the stepdad tried to be cool twice in the entire film to her, which is fair play. It's fine. It's not one side, but it's heavily leaning on that seesaw.
Well, I hope that answered your comment, Charlotte.
So we have got a big question. As we said, Alex Anderson sent through a lot, really filling the void of Alex this week. He asked us which of our fellow three takes would we prefer to body swap with. Yeah,
this would have been a fun one to get Alex to have a recording of.
So I'm gonna message Alex now and ask him so we can discuss while we wait.
I don't know. I kind of want your opinion first before I answer.
I don't think I have a preference, and when I first read the question, I've been trying to think about it, and I think I feel like I would like to body swap with Alex to feel like what it's like just to be funny to everyone. But obviously, I wouldn't necessarily find out. I feel like people would just be disappointed in me.
Yeah, exactly, because you won't, because it will be you. You would still be making the same shit jokes.
But his life intrigues me. I feel like some of it's a bit mysterious. Some of his life's a little bit mysterious, I could destroy
he's not a spy.
No, but he's a little. And I could feel like I could destroy his Rocket League,
or his paddle ranking,
I wouldn't take it that low. It would be lower, but not much lower. And then I feel like if I body swapped with you, we could work out our differences. We could do that. Also, maybe I could I don't have a bad shot, but I don't have a top bins free kick like you do. That could be fun to try. Would I be left-footed in your body?
Oh, that's a good point. That's an interesting question. I don't know who I'd rather. I think.
Alex's first response to this question is gross.
I think it is a bit gross. I think I'd rather swap with Alex because I'd want to know what it would be like to be a northerner.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Would his accent stay?
Yeah.
Because I'd want to go find out if I'm respected as a northerner. But if I sound like me with Alex's voice, that's not going to happen,
In Freaky
That's a
Friday,
great
Lindsay
show.
Lohan still talks like Lindsay Lohan, and Jamie Lee Curtis still talks like Jamie Lee Curtis. So
True. Yeah,
So I
let's
think
go
you
with the
keep
limits
Alex's
of
voice.
filmmaking coming into this concept. Yeah, let's do it. I think you could find out what it's like to be tall.
yes, oh my god, yes, I want to be you. I want to be you, James. Yes, you are completely correct. I want to be 6'4". Yes, James, I
Mate,
want to be you.
honestly, can we just body swap so that you get to be tall, but can you keep up your gym schedule?
Oh,
Sort me out.
done.
Sick.
Deal.
Like, I'll hit your schedule if you want me to. Like,
No,
you
you
work
fucking
out
won't. You wouldn't be
really
able
hard.
to.
Yeah, no, I'd have to. Depends how long. Otherwise, we're never turning back. So I could long it out a little bit.
There's genuinely an episode of Red Dwarf.
That's funny you
it's-
say that. Have you seen what Alex has responded in the chat?
No?
Probably
Oh, you put it in the chat, I didn't realise.
Chandler's got too many extracurricular activities to cram in.
I think there's genuine episode of Red Dwarf where Lister and Rimmer body swap because Lister says, Rimmer, you'll be able to get me fit, essentially.
That's a great, yeah, fair. You get me fit. But then again, and then I'm always busy. Yeah, but Alex, some of those are lies. Do what you want, Alex. We're reading it all out. You're all out. I'd be so annoyed as you if I can't reach something. But I would love to know what it feels like to not have my feet off the edge of a bed.
Oh, that's interesting, yeah.
Because I don't get that very often. Like, what would that be like for an extended period of time? I said my Achilles hurt. Maybe it wouldn't.
What's he said?
Go on. Actually, nah, fuck it, Chandler. Just bob around punching vending machines. I think he does this out of his former fat rage.
This is why we can't do the podcast without Alex. He's too fucking funny.
He wouldn't have said that.
I love how he says former fat rage because I still am fat.
Nah, but you're strong now as well. You're muscly as well.
Yeah.
So, like,
well, I try.
Your face
I
has
try.
lost so much weight over time.
All right. We don't need any of this in the podcast.
We
I don't
fucking
need any
glaze you enough
shit.
for this because you fucking bait for it.
Alex has now just put gibberish into the chat and then gone, there you go, read that, you cunt.
No, he said, there you go, read that, you cut. He's censoring from texts for the podcast.
So the other two questions we got in were, if you could pick any film to get a sequel, what would it be and why? It's a good question, that, isn't it?
I'd like to see a Moneyball in different sports. Now, I know it's a true story, but why not?
Like an FC Midtjylland
Yeah,
or a Brentford kind of thing.
yeah, just another one.
Yeah.
It would borderline be a docu-series at that point, but more dramatically delivered, which, yeah, fine, that could be fun.
Talking of films that we've done for the podcast and sequels, I would actually like a Social Network too.
Well, that's been
I think
rumoured,
that
hasn't
would
it?
be. I don't know, but I think that
think
would
it's
be a
been
really
rumoured.
interesting film to see.
Hey, you get, what's his face? Who's the main actor?
Jesse Eisenberg and
Get to
Andrew
see-
Garfield.
Jesse Eisenberg gets to be a prick for another 2 hours. That's fine. Apparently it's in development already.
That's
There
cool.
you go. Your wish is coming true. I bet that's a little subconscious talking to you that you've seen it before.
Maybe.
Hey,
What else?
that's one to point out. So I don't know if you've seen, but this is a lot of people's childhoods have been touched by this. And that sounds horrendous. But the Jonas Brothers on tour brought out Demi Lovato and did like a camp rock song on their tour
That's cool.
and sang. And I was like, oh, it's so cute. It's like being 11 again or whatever. And there's now people are like Camp Rock 3. Now, do I want Camp Rock 3? Not for me. For everyone else. And maybe it'll have some good songs in there. But yeah, fuck it. Do a Camp Rock 3.
I
band back
can't think
together.
there isn't one that comes to mind. Do you know what? Actually, I was thinking of this. I was thinking actually, I would want another Ocean's 11 to come back, but with as much original the Ocean's 11 cast as possible, like George Clooney, Brad Pitt, and all that. I think that would be a really cool film because all three of those films I loved. So I kind of want a fourth.
There's a lot of Marvel properties I would like them to just hurry up and do the sequel for. So like Shang-Chi 2, that would be nice. It took them.
It's like, you're not getting one.
We will, because Shang-Chi 1 did well, but it's been 7 years apparently.
The other question we got is: are there any sequels you think are as good, if not better, than their first film? This one was from Leslie, and she also goes, could that be another trilogy possibility that we do?
Better sequels than the originals. That's a great suggestion. I think Spider-Man 2 is a famous one that people often say is better than Spider-Man 1.
The other famous one is The Godfather 2 is better than The Godfather.
Captain America 2.
Yes, Captain America 2 is 100% better than the Captain America 1.
First one's fine, but 2
is better than the first Thors. Thor Ragnarok
Thors.
is better than the first 2 Thors.
Yeah. There's a lot of superhero films you could do, because they kind of they just find their feet, don't they?
When I was a kid, when I was younger in my teenage years, I used to think that Back to the Future 2 was better than Back to the Future. I now think that Back to the Future is better than Back to the Future 2, but not by much. I think they are both near perfect movies. The other one, technically not a second one, but again a threequel, a trilogy. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, I think, might be better than Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
I rewatched Last Crusade the other day. It was on telly late at night while I was babysitting, and it was so good. I love that film so much. And I do think it's better than the original because Indiana Jones actually has a impact on the storyline of the film. If you take Indiana Jones out of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the same film technically. Like the same thing happens ultimately. Not with the Last Crusade though.
There's quite a few, just checking the IMDb list. Rocky 2 is rated as one. That might be Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Superman 2 from 1980. The Last Crusade is on there. X-Men 2. I think that's fair. The Dark Knight. Dark Knight's better than...
Yeah,
absolutely
obviously.
better. Back to the Future Part 2 is considered. So maybe you're not wrong. Terminator 2, Beverly Hills Cop
Terminator 2.
Lethal
2,
Weapon
that's a good
3.
one.
I do think
Never
that there's
seen
a
any of the Lethal
question.
Weapons.
There's a question here that some of these are just good franchises. So a sequel could be marginally better or as good, and thus you can suggest it. And to be honest, a film just having a sequel that's as good or just good, because so many things just fall off. You have to do something different and interesting with the story, because people do want more often of characters. But you can't be stale, and you can't just shove them on the screen and get them to be the same person they are. They need to go on a journey, I think.
So I completely agree with you. So 2 examples of that is Terminator 2 and Aliens.
Alien
so Terminator 2, Terminator 2 is a different kind of action movie to Terminator. Terminator 1 is more of a thriller, whereas Terminator 2 is more of just an out-and-out action movie. And the same with Aliens and Alien. Alien is a horror film by definition. Like, that is a stone-cold horror film. And it's amazing, don't get me wrong. Aliens is an action film, and it's a great action film. It is a good action film. So, again, you are right. Like, doing a sequel, you either have to be on point with your story, and there's, like, Lord of the Rings, right, as a trilogy. Different stories, and it's, like, one long story. You have to cut up into 3 movies, yeah? Like the books. Whereas, like, if a movie does well and it's like, right, we need to get a sequel out, if you don't actually have a story to tell to continue those characters, doing it in a different genre is always a good bet.
It's either a different way or they have to progress on a journey somehow, and you can't. And the biggest problem often with sequels is just rehashing the same journey as the first one and almost resetting the character. These are films, not video game series where they need to reset you, so you've got something to build towards. This is movies. Don't reset our characters unless there's a really good reason for it. But you mentioned trying something new. Joker 2 definitely failed at that. That's been horribly rated. Apparently, it's terrible. Fair. But I will say Titanic 2 that should come out, that might be better. The submarine. The submarine.
One sequel that comes to mind that I think is better than the original because of how bad it is
Hitting the second
is
tower.
Grease 2.
Don't delete delete that because you kept going.
Is
Grease 2 really?
Is
I think Emily
Grease
likes
2.
Grease. Hold up.
This is me vamping while James goes asks his partner if she likes Grease 2.
What did you say about Grease 2? Emily's not seen it out of refusal, and her mum says who's on the phone says it's terrible.
It is objectively a bad film, but it is better than the original because of how bad it is, because it's so fun to watch.
Oh, okay. So it's better because it's bad. Okay. So it's not actually a better movie. It's just you enjoy it more because it's shit.
I love
Fine.
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But anyway, I could talk for hours about Grease 2.
Last question was from Matt Stevens, who asked, do you think the sequel thing will kind of get to people tired of it with oversaturation like superhero films and Western films back in the day? I'd say no.
I say no because I think sequels have always been a staple of cinema. Like, as much as we get annoyed about them now, you go back to the 30s, 40s, 50s, there were sequels. I think they're different in the ways of being called a number 2, but they've always been sequels. Like, you have there's a Dirty Harry franchise. There's like 4 of those from the 60s. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always happened.
I think
That's also reminded me, Toy Story 2, arguably better than Toy Story.
very good. Toy Story 2. I agree. They've always been a staple of cinema and they'll never go away. The problem, I think there's more of a question mark over stuff like this, where there's been a long time and they could be seen as cash grabs, for sure. Yeah. There's a question mark for that. Like, if we start to see loads of old properties get reboots all at once, then maybe. But
I actually
the
think
idea of a sequel will not. And we need sequels. The problem here isn't sequels. The problem is the lack of new IP that actually gets funded and a chance to succeed. And unfortunately, we're at the stage now where big budget ones are probably not going to get it, just because, as I mentioned earlier, the state of just going to the cinema.
I do agree with you. I also think there's an argument to be made that what we should actually be trying to fund is sequels and more reboots of films that didn't do well, but the idea of those movies at the core of them are good ideas. So I actually mentioned it before. So say again.
New Fantastic Four.
Well, yeah, but more of like so. I mentioned it before. Ocean's 11 with George Clooney, Brad Pitt, etc., is a reboot of a film from the 60s. Is a reboot of Ocean's 11 from the 60s. Was a film that is not very good and did not perform well. However, the core of the idea of the movie is quite a fun idea of a movie. So they got a great director and writer to rewrite the IP and a great ensemble cast to perform it. And I think that's would actually be quite a good thing to go down, of find those sort of random little films that didn't perform well or didn't do or aren't great films because for whatever reason, and take the core idea of that story and update it for now. And I think you might be onto a winner.
Yeah, I think so. The problem with that is, are they going to suffer off the back of what's failed before? Because you'll get the question, why are they rebooting it was bad? And it's a harder sell. And let's be real, the reason they do this is because they're an easy sell.
But I would argue it's an easier sell to say a great filmmaker saw this film and thought, you know what, I could do that better. And is now going to remake it.
The marketing's important.
Then someone just doing, this performed well 20 years ago, so let's redo it. I would say cinema-going audiences would rather, because it's more obviously less of a cash grab.
Yeah, and I think
that's more appealing.
Draw people in to that for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's more appealing to cinema-going audiences. Is like, they're doing a remake of that. That's a bit weird, but it's by Tarantino, for example. You're like, let's go watch it, or Soderbergh, or whoever, Nolan, or a good film director and a good screenwriter.
So Chandler, you have watched all of the sequels. I think I'm changing my order of the trilogy we did and putting Naked Gun first and Happy Gilmore 2 from further
Happy
thoughts. Nick Gunn first
Happy
and Happy Gilmore as number 2 in my list. Yes.
I see what you mean.
I think just because, going away from it, love all the films we did, but Naked Gun was something new and exciting and just really wowed me. And I just think it's a real masterpiece in comedic cinema. So yeah, I think that deserves the number 1 spot more. But hey, I could change my mind in 5 minutes. I'm not discounting what I said previously. My mind might change again. But it's the sequels, Chandler. Give me them.
So out of the sequels, I think you can probably guess.
I think I know. Can I guess?
But
can I guess?
You can guess. Yeah, go on, guess. Yeah, go on.
Freakier Friday's 1. Naked Gun's 2. And Happy Gilmore 2 is 3.
So I'm going to say you're wrong.
Okay. You seemed more glowing to Freakier Friday in this record.
Happy Gilmore 2 is number 1. No, that's a lie. Your face.
What the fuck?
Your face. No, so
you had me.
So Happy Gilmore 2.
You had me in the first
Happy
half,
Gilmore 2. Thank you. Happy Gilmore 2 is number 3, without a doubt. Like far and away, Happy is number 3. Like it's not like last week where all 3 films were very, very close. Happy Gilmore 2 is number 3 by a long shot. So I was very glowing about Freakier Friday when I was talking about it 20 minutes ago. The only downside, and this is why it's my number 2, is that you can feel the length of it a little bit near the end of the third act, in the middle of the third act. It does drag on just a little, and you can feel it, but it is still a great film. It is still a really, really great film. But that's the only reason it's my number 2. So very, very tight ahead is the Naked Gun reboot, because that is such a tight movie and story told. You do not feel the length of it. You enjoy it the whole way through. So that's why the Naked Gun reboot is my number 1.
I don't think Freakier Friday needed to be nearly 2 hours long, by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Well, how long was the original? Again,
an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah, and again, I don't think it needs more than that. A 2-hour film really needs to be something epic for me, or doing something really, really, really good. Whereas I think a comedy film, unless you're really, really good, you're risking dragging on. And your
I do agree with you.
Your future gags not last. Happy Gilmore 1 as well, 1.5 hours. Interesting.
I do agree with you.
Eventually, I will watch them, and you will be surprised on this podcast one day with my rebuttal. You never know; might be same, might be different.
But all there is time for now is from halfway across the world, Alex, to lead us out.
That is it from us. I hope you've enjoyed them two wittering on for a while. I imagine James will have compared Happy Gilmore not being able to find a worker to carry his clubs as, the rise of communism in Vietnam or something. And I imagine Chandler has mentioned how many times he watched the new Freaky Friday as a fetus before anyone else did. So yeah, that's them wittering on. I hope you enjoyed all their takes. They were probably terrible because I'm not there to shut them down. But anyway, that's all we have time for. We'll be back soon with some more things about other things. Yeah, that's goodbye from Chandler.
See ya.
It's goodbye from James.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me in a car. Goodbye.
Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast in your platform of choice. It really helps us grow. Make sure to follow us on our socials and our individual Letterboxd accounts. The links can be found in the description or at www.hopwith2ps.bio/3takes or search for 3 Takes of Stupidity on most platforms. We're most active on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. Please send us your film and trilogy suggestions to our Hop page on social media, or you can email us at 3takesofstupidity@gmail.com. Thank you and hope to have you back.